So the 2020s have been a pretty rough time for all of us so far, right? As the COVID pandemic continues to fuck us all over, it just makes sense that all of us would be stuck at home, binge watching our favorite shows as a way of escapism. Some that are old, some that are new, but not really that new. They've been around for a while now, but it's only now that everyone's watching them. You get what I mean. And then there's me. As of this video, I've never watched some of the shows everyone's watching, like Succession or Cobra Kai or even Breaking Bad. So you might be wondering, why the fuck did I end up watching these instead? I also watched the Marvel shows that dropped on Disney Plus around the previous year, and I'd love to discuss a large chunk of what I liked and disliked about them. Boner. But that's not what this video is about. Oh no. I could be ranting about Hawkeye all day and why Kingpin in that show was wasted, but that's another time. Instead, I'd like to take this moment to discuss one of the most interesting experiences I've had throughout the entire quarantine era. My supervillain origin story. The time I fell deep down into idol hell firsthand. The moment I went from a degenerate into an insufferable degenerate. All my idol friends, where you at? Idol hell is a pretty interesting place to say the least. To non-weebs watching this, or anyone who doesn't really have an extensive knowledge about anime, you'd be surprised as to just how the hell this is practically an entire genre dedicated to this. It's almost like some kind of secret cult with its own culture that you gotta be a specific kind of person to get into. Even people like the creator of Berserk, rest in peace, couldn't resist the temptations of something like Idolmaster. It's pretty insane. And the funniest thing about Idol Hell is that it isn't even all that offensive. It genuinely looks pretty innocent on the inside. Until your parents or non-weeb friends come in and ask you why the hell you're watching a bunch of 16-year-old girls dance in silly outfits like some kind of FBI interrogation. So for this video, I'm not just gonna talk about my experiences in Idol Hell as a newcomer, but also as a spy. I'm talking James Bond Mission Impossible shit. I'ma be infiltrating the world of Idol Hell while in a disguise and going through lasers and shit. And more so, a specific part of Idol Hell than Idol Hell as a whole. More specifically, the most well-known Idol franchise to ever exist, the granddaddy of them all, Love Live. Alright! Love Live is definitely one of the franchises of all time. It's a school idol franchise that launched in July of 2010 as part of a magazine company, followed by 2 singles, one of which is Snow Halation, arguably the most well-known song in this franchise, but we'll get to that later. The best way I can describe this thing to anyone unfamiliar with idols or anime in general is to imagine Pitch Perfect or Glee if everyone made their own music, men don't exist, and everyone was replaced with cute anime girls within the age range of 15 to 17. And what happens to those who are 18 plus? Those right there. The franchise has since had over 4 titles, each with their own groups and animes, including 2 movies, several video games, live shows, promotional seiyuu videos, and thousands of songs since its inception. I could talk about all of them in one single video, but then this video would last longer than The Irishman. And I'd rather die than make a video about something like iCarly that's about 4.5 hours long. So for my sake and your sake, I'll be making one separate video on each of the Love Live animes and my thoughts on them, starting with the one everyone knows. Lord forgive me. Let's fucking go. We'll be starting off with the first and arguably most popular anime in the entire franchise, Love Live School Idol Project. And when I say the most popular, I mean the most popular. At least out of the 4. Since the anime started airing in 2013, it's had 2 seasons and 1 movie released in 2015, and centers on this second-year high school girl named Hanuka Kosaka, who discovers that her school, Otonokizaka High, is closing down due to a lack of new students. She visits another high school called UTX, where her sister plans to study, and discovers that school idols are a popular trend. With the help of her childhood friends Umi Sonoda and Kotori Minami, they decide to start a school idol group called Muse. Not Muse, Muse. Spelled with the Greek letter mu and an apostrophe s. Very different. Soon their group gets more members and they end up competing in Love Live, a popular school idol competition alongside the rival group, the ones Hanuka saw in UTX, A-Rise. Quick advisory before I go on, this video isn't meant to personally shit on this franchise or its fan base. If anything, I did sacrifice myself to all the cute things this anime and franchise as a whole had in store for me. This is more so based on my experiences with the franchise as a whole, especially since this anime is pretty much everyone's starting point in getting into Love Live or Idol Hell as a whole. I never even heard of Love Live up until 2016, when Snow Halation became a very popular meme thanks to this channel called Siva Gunner. Yes, that's Siva Gunner. They're a musical collective dedicated to video game rips, which are actually meme remixes of said rips from many games, including those in the Love Live franchise. One character from Love Live, Nozomi Tojo, is also recognizable to a lot of people well familiar with Siva Gunner's rips. And for those of you who aren't familiar with these girls at all, well, there is a phrase in this show, you know, the one, but we'll get to that later. Outside of memes, this is a franchise I didn't really care for at all until early 2021, 1 year into the pandemic. And that's how I ended up here. Well-known YouTuber and movie critic Chris Stuckman says it best.
Quarantine does some fucked up things to you. It makes you want to try things. Things you've never done before. Like do a hilariosity review of Catwoman.
So what happens in this anime? What crazy, epic adventures do Hanuka and the gang get into? Season 1 starts with everything you need to know about the whole anime. There's a freeze frame with the main character introducing herself.
Hey, that's me, Hanuka Kosaka, and I'm a second year at Otonokizaka High.
The conflict, the school idol group thing, and how everything comes together. It tells you exactly everything you need to know and why you should care for these girls in just one episode, and it does a pretty good job introducing the main characters and asks for our emotional investment in them. The first 3 episodes then pretty much focus on their first days as Muse, starting out as a trio, coming up with the name, costumes, and setting up their very first concert before scouting for more members.
I want to sing and dance even more than I did before. I'm pretty sure Umi and Kotori agree. I've never felt this motivated before, and I'm really happy that we're all doing this together.
All 9 members of Muse include Hanuka Kosaka, who is the leader of Muse. Her family runs a candy shop, which probably justifies why she acts so sweet all the time.
Yeah. Then why won't you help me? I'm sick of red bean. And now I can enjoy my delicious bread.
You're going to gain weight.
And apparently in some cases she can control the weather, so I guess in a way she's a superhero. Umi Sonoda is a strong and hardworking female archer destined to achieve her goals, who sets herself apart from the others by not killing anybody.
Calm down, Umi.
Never mind. Umi would totally kill. Kotori Minami, who's the daughter of the school board chairwoman and also works for a maid cafe and is also British?
Kotori? So sorry. I don't understand you.
Maki Nishikino, who's a redhead tsundere, who's so rich that if this anime were made today, she would have probably invested in cryptocurrency by now. She also believes in Santa.
I do my best to keep the chimney as clean as possible. And I'm happy to say that Santa has made his way down that chimney every year.
Rinho Shizora, who's part cat, I think?
Hey, you have to play too, meow.
Hanaya Koizumi, the one who eats rice and nothing but rice. And to that I say, good luck with that. Eli Ayase, a tall half-Russian ballet dancer who's totally not Natasha Romanoff.
Horosho, horosho, horosho.
It's a fighting pose. You're a total poser. Not a poser.
Nozomi Tojo, she, reads tarot cards, I think.
The cards keep saying the one that those girls need is you.
That's pretty much all there is to her, I guess. Aside from being a sex offender.
Oh no. Oh, please don't! So you gotta... Ow!
There's enough discipline to go around.
If that were a man, oh boy, that would be horribly, horribly wrong. And finally, Nico Yazawa. An annoying, attention-seeking little bitch who is ironically the most popular character in this entire anime. Seriously, she gets ignored by just about so many people in the anime, while in real life, some cosplayer wore one of her outfits and became a meme.
I guess they never miss.
She also has this catchphrase, Nico Nico Ni, which is supposed to make her cute, and what do you know, it worked. There's like so many memes and compilations of famous people saying that catchphrase that it might as well be anime's answer to how you doing or bazinga. As I've described earlier, more and more members join Muse throughout the next couple episodes. In the 4th episode, Maki Rin Pana, fuck it. We're introduced to Hanayo and Rin, two first-year students who've been best friends and classmates since childhood. Hanayo is an idol otaku and finds herself caught as to whether she should join Muse or not. She also persuades Rin to join, and I'm just gonna stop you right there and let you guess why Rin couldn't join Muse. Is it A, she has stage fright and is incapable of performing live music? B, she has a dark past or a traumatic backstory that prevents her from joining a music group? Or C, she couldn't care any less about school idols and has better things to do. If you answered any of these, then you're all wrong. Nope, it's because she isn't girly enough to join a school group.
Now hang on a second. You know, I'm not exactly the idol type. I mean, I'm not really that girly at all. And I got this short boy haircut going on.
Ah, yes. I too was 15 years old when I couldn't get myself to buy G.I. Joe toys from Toys R Us because I wasn't manly enough. I was a fanboy. Maki also plans on quitting music to study medicine and inherit her family's hospital, before she changes her mind and joins Muse anyways. To be fair, Grande also studied medicine, but decided to do shitty Reddit Minecraft memes instead. Anything is possible, children, even after you've gotten yourself a medical license. I'm pretty sure that in an alternate reality, Maki is a successful nurse, and she's out there saving lives instead of being a part of a school idol group in this anime. Hanukkah and the girls soon discover a recording of their first concert hitting viral on the internet. Assuming this episode came out in 2013, it had to be even odds for Muse's very first concert video to beat out, oh I don't know, Harlem Shake? Like, I can only imagine how that would go in a real life setting. It either could have been on an episode of Equals 3 or only gotten like 50 views, but then the anime wouldn't happen. I guess it's part of storytelling law now that key plot points should go viral if they have to, so they can progress forward. So Hanayo and Rin join Muse, and we get to the next member to join the club, Nico Yazawa. And when I mean club, I mean the mere fact that Nico is actually the only member of an apparently already established idol research club, and tells Muse that they should disband immediately because you're not real school idols. You may have gone viral and all, but real school idols are cute, and they have personas, and they're cute, and you're not cute. You're less than cute. You're ugly, and fuck you. It's also implied that Nico got yeeted out of the last school idol group she was in because of high expectations she had for everyone else. That was probably the Wiggles. Nonetheless, Nico changes her mind and joins the group, on the condition that she be their coach. Muse then established a viral marketing campaign, making interviews for each member and occasionally music videos for all of us to see. Which brings me to one of the many questions I have about Love Live. Who's watching any of this? I get it's supposed to be immersive, I guess, and we're supposed to watch all this through the audience's eyes, but whenever it cuts to the MV stuff, it just seems like it's entirely dead air. This doesn't just go for this anime, but every idol hell thing ever. Who's waving the glow sticks? And I've seen enough musicals to know that every time someone sings, the background characters are always involved in some way. Natsumi discovers Hanukkah doesn't really do anything as the leader of Muse, and Nico begins a contest to see who gets to control the entirety of Muse, through karaoke.
We're gonna compete and see who scores the highest? Right, you got it!
I mean, you guys could have just done a poll, but then I guess the episode would end in 6 minutes. But as it turns out, it's secretly a ploy for Nico to win the position, which goes about as well as Donald Trump trying to stop Joe Biden from winning the presidential elections. Muse then realized, you know what? Hanaka's good enough. I mean, sure, we could just go as an anarchy, but I suppose she's good enough. Feed her 10,000 breads. By the next episode, Haneo comes across, get this, she comes across Love Live. She said the name of the show, everybody, and tries to help Muse enter with the permission of the school. But there's just one teeny weeny small minuscule problem. All the girls should have good grades in order to join, in which Hanaka, Rin, and Nico don't. While the three study to keep themselves in Muse, we meet Ellie's sister, Elisa, who reveals that Ellie was the one who recorded one of their performances that went viral online.
What a twist!
Ellie gets confronted about it and reveals she's not really a big fan of school idols and considers Muse to be mediocre.
All school idol groups are nothing but amateurs. Even Arise, the best group last year, are a bunch of amateurs.
Is that supposed to be a metaphor for people who don't like anime? Umi then discovers Ellie is a ballerina and gets her to join Muse, as she starts helping them through intense dance training.
10 more minutes.
Okay!
I think it's time you reevaluated what you're doing for strength training.
Natsumi reveals herself as the one who named the group Muse. She and Ellie join them, and thus, their lives as school idols truly begin.
Calm down, Greg, it's soccer.
Not much else happens for the rest of the first season. We discover that Muse has its own merchandise.
Are you sure it says Muse and not some kind of moose thingy?
No, not like for your hair. Who'd sell moose in an idol store?
I'm guessing there's been a quick passage of time since they got popular, because there's no way they'd have their own Blu-rays, toys, and pictures that easily after their performances went viral. Are they even officially licensed? I don't think Muse had any say in letting their own likeness get sold for money, but I guess they're too sweet and pure to sue anybody. Because personally, if my own face got sold for money, it would be put on t-shirts and NFTs that nobody would buy because I look too ugly. We also discover that Kotori has a secret identity as the legendary maid Midalinsky in Akihabara for some reason. I guess that place is basically like New York City for weebs, and why Kotori has a maid secret identity that's legendary, I have no idea.
For what we all did to Jesus Christ, we're all gonna go to hell.
They hold a performance in the middle of the roads with no security guards or traffic jams or any consent from government officials to do a show as dangerous as that.
Next Sunday, right here.
But so many people! It'll be fun!
That's not even school idol territory anymore. That's like something James Corden would do. They also go to this beach where they have a sleepover and a pillow fight where they establish this rule not to call anyone senpai throughout the whole trip because... Oh wait, I got it. Anime? I will say this, I guess it's a very relaxing and wholesome little break from everything going on in the main plot. Emphasis on wholesome. I do love how this anime takes its sweet precious time to really flesh out every member of Muse in the most humane and sympathetic way possible. Gets you to care about everyone and hope they succeed in making it to Love Live. Speaking of which, Muse then become eligible to join and hold his performance on the school rooftop in the middle of heavy rain, where shortly afterwards, Hanaka fucking dies. Nah, just kidding. She just falls unconscious, which is pretty odd considering she looked just fine in the MV. Muse grow bitter for a bit, and they have a little argument.
But now I see it. You are the worst. You're the worst person ever!
Also, there's this subplot at the final episode where Kotori plans to study abroad, and Hanaka chases her all the way to the airport and tells her to stay.
I want to continue being a school idol, and I want you to keep going forward with me! Even if we decide to go after different dreams someday!
Yep. They do the cliche you've seen in every romantic comedy ever. Is that supposed to be a metaphor for them being lesbians? I actually really like the final episode quite a bit. It draws back to a lot of things we've known about Muse up until this point, and once again humanizes them to show that beyond being school idols, they're really good friends. They're really passionate about who they are and where they've come from the very beginning, even if it means they're unable to participate in the Love Life show. These are the types of endings I really like. Endings where our main protagonists are happy, even if they don't achieve everything they want, or they lose a part of themselves and they're still standing strong. shows us that even if we can't always get what we want, we still work pretty hard and we should be proud of that. And that was Season 1 of School Idol Project. It's fine. It's pretty harmless actually, and uplifting in some cases. It's pretty hard to objectively review something like the most wholesome school idol propaganda ever made, but damn it, I'm gonna try anyways. This is the greatest anime ever made by mankind. Give it every Oscar and every Emmy you got. The Seiyu for Nico should be an EGOT by now. But in all fairness, it's one of those stories where you got a bunch of underdogs who start from the bottom and make their way to the top, even if at the end of it all, they don't really make it to the top at all and just stop halfway through because their leader passed out in the middle of rain. I mean, come on, she's singing in the rain, singing in the rain. And I thought main characters standing in front of rain was supposed to make them badass. I watched Matrix Revolutions the other day. Neo was having this epic final fight with Agent Smith, and it was raining real hard, and he was fighting death to save everyone at the same time. Hanukkah would never. If there's one thing Love Live is well known for, aside from their animes, it's the music. In fact, when Love Live began, they only did music videos, and their music videos looked like this. Not bad for 2010, especially in a time where YouTube vids looked like this at the time.
Dakota Fanning. Dakota Fanning.
There are thousands of Love Live songs, as I mentioned earlier, and I'm also talking the SIP franchise alone, so buckle up, fellas, because I'm going Anthony Fantano on this. I'm going ARTV. I'm going Spectrum Pulse on these motherfuckers. The songs are... they're okay, I guess. Gonna be honest, they're really not all that special to my taste. They're inoffensive and sweet, nothing too terrible at all, actually. And a lot of them tend to sound like your average J-pop stuff, at least in my opinion. I guess I'll take this over, like, the new Kid Rock or something.
So what the fuck's up with all the backlash? You snowflakes, here's a news flash!
About 99.5% of all Muse songs are very cute, very sunny, very upbeat. They have these lyrics about love, or not giving up, or smiling, or the future. And then there's Loveless World, which is quite possibly the gloomiest song in this entire franchise. But then again, there's thousands of songs, and hey, this is just my opinion. And when it comes to the love songs, most of them are first person, and I'm assuming Muse are lesbian, so I just want to ask, who are these songs directed towards to? Themselves? Another unknown lover or a friend? Drake? The fans? Muse also has 3 subdivisions for 3 members, depending on mutual personalities or ages. First you got Printemps, basically for the cutest and youngest looking members of Muse. BB for the mature school idols. And Lily White, which, I'm gonna be honest, it's hard to describe, apart from Rin being the only member not to have purple looking hair. So I guess with my thoughts on the music out of the way, let's talk about the second season. So the second season begins with Hanukkah as club president, but as it turns out, being club president is actually pretty hard. Oh no! Haneo discovers that Love Live has returned, bigger and harder than ever before, because this is the second season after all, and the stakes gotta be higher or we wouldn't have a second season.
Another one?
Another one? Another one?
Another one.
And they would have to go against A-Rise to win the competition, but Hanukkah is like, meh, no thanks. Which shocks the group. I thought the point of the season 1 finale is that you didn't need to go in a big competition to truly prove yourself special and friendship is all that matters. Why is this suddenly a big deal now? Oh yeah, because that's the title of the anime and they gotta compete or else they wouldn't warrant the Love Live title. They also learn that Love Live happens around the same time the new school year begins, and soon discovers that it's their last chance for the third years to be a part of Muse. A new rule is also implemented that school idol groups must write new songs to qualify in the next Love Live, so they go to a summer house Maki's family just so happens to own. Next thing you're gonna tell me, they have their own Starbucks too. How about their own amusement park, or a media conglomerate? I'm telling you man, these rich kids, they can't be trusted. Put that on the t-shirt. After Ellie divides the school idols into the groups I mentioned earlier, they pretty much chill there for the majority of the second episode. Nico and Maki go camping at night, Rin walks around the woods and they die. There's Let's just go to the next episode. The idols consider streaming their performances live, even if it's a lot harder to reach their voters.
How time has changed in the past 8 years or so.
They soon meet up with A-Rise, who tell them that they're watching their every move, even though in all honesty, it doesn't really matter all that much. I suppose they're the closest this anime has to antagonist towards Muse, even though they don't really show up all that much, since most of this anime overall is about Muse just vibing out as school idols. They let Muse perform in their university roof, where you can tell they've clearly learned a lot since the last time they tried that out. The next episode, called #1 Idol in the Universe, shows us that Nico has 2 sisters and a brother, and has been working extremely hard to take care of ever since their parents went away or something. I should also point out that Nico's brother is the closest we ever have to a boy in, I guess we'll call this the Love Live anime universe, aside from Hanaka's father, who looks like a soldier for some reason. I swear to God, that guy looks like he's about to gun down a bunch of terrorists in just a few minutes.
Back to Nico's story.
Muse arranged for this special concert just for Nico and her siblings, which should happen any time now. Or not.
Speaking of which, a vast majority of Season 2 revolves around fleshing out the idols even more, in the sense that the anime will occasionally break away from the main plot to spend more time on the lives and personalities of Muse and its other members.
For instance, the next episode, where we draw back to Rin's insecurities about being cute, even though she's drawn like this, and how her boyish attitude made her a laughingstock back in elementary school.
It's 2022, it's time to stop being ashamed of who you are. So what if I was a femboy and I couldn't buy G.I. Joe toys? I had chokers!
So anyways, there's this fashion event everyone's supposed to join, but Rain has trapped Hanaka and her friends in the school. So they make this dress for Rin to wear in the show, but she's like, oh no, I can't do this, let Hanayo take care of it. But she's like, no, you wear it, and it's a big success. Rin takes pride in being a girl.
So hang on, what's the message here? Be happy who you are, but at the same time, don't be happy with who you think you are? Really interesting morals in retrospect. Because her tomboy personality was doing just fine, but apparently it's not qualified to be a school idol. There's this other character from another idol franchise, and she's perfectly cool with that. Yay, feminism? I don't know, I'm a man. I'm not qualified to speak on these matters, or Twitter will hunt me down like a duck.
I prefer really not to speak. If I speak, I am in big trouble. In big trouble.
There's also a Halloween episode.
Personally, I prefer the one from Community, where the main characters have to fight zombified students while ABBA music plays in the background. So good.
Holy crap, Leonard's a zombie!
Great show, by the way. Everyone should binge it. It's on Netflix. You're welcome.
They also try changing their looks to get more appeal in Love Live, including impersonating each other, which doesn't go really well. This is easily one of my favorite moments in the entire anime, just the seiyus impersonating each other's characters. It's really cute. Did I just call Love Live genuinely cute? I must be losing my mind.
Nico, Nico, ni! I'll make your heart go Nico, ni! Hi there, I'm Nico, Nico Yazawa! Even the sky is Nico!
Harasha! Nico is more like Nico than Nico is.
They also try looking like a rock band, which also fails.
At least they make better music than Kid Rock.
But yo, homie, here's a situation. A nation of pussies is our next generation.
Put that on a t-shirt. Oh, and that one episode where Hanaka and Hanayo are gaining weight and they gotta burn it.
What the f was that? The next episode sees Muse deciding to write a love song to use during the Love Life competition against A-Rise. However, there's one problem. None of them have ever fallen in love before.
Are you sure about that?
They try to find inspiration by watching a romantic movie, which fails as some of them fall asleep or cry their eyes out watching it, before Umi turns the TV off and we discover that she has a fear of romantic movies apparently.
It's so embarrassing and it's shameful!
You really think so?
I do! Behaving in such a manner in a public setting is unthinkable!
I mean, I too would also cry if my girlfriend forced me to watch The Notebook 100 times.
What the fuck am I saying? I don't even have a GF.
Maki dislikes this idea and follows Nozomi home, where we discover that she wishes to perform a song that all of Muse wrote together. She's happy that all of them got to be together, even if they can't write the song. I think one of the best things about this season is how friendly the camaraderie Muse seems to have, except that one time they didn't. This is basically an anime about 9 teenage girls who all love school idols, become school idols themselves, and just vibe from there on out. While it isn't the most emotionally satisfying and most character-driven anime ever made, obviously speaking, I will once again reiterate how most of Season 2 is dedicated to fleshing all these characters out and getting us to care for all of them in the hopes they succeed in love life.
With all that said, it's time. If you've managed to come this far into the video, this is probably what you've been waiting for. So here goes nothing.
Even if you're not into anime in any goddamn way whatsoever, you know Snow Halation. Initially released in late December of 2010 as the second Love Live song, the song later found a re-release 4 years later, coinciding with the release of Season 2 Episode 10, complete with a remade music video. This song is everywhere, and at this point, it's about as legendary as other viral songs like The Rickroll or Gangnam Style. Sure, that may sound like a stretch, knowing those songs are a lot more recognizable, but there is no doubt you've heard Snow Halation at least once in your life, or if you've heard even once, you've gotten a rip. This is without a doubt my personal favorite Love Live song. The instrumentation is very cinematic, and the vocals are some of the most passionate I've ever heard in the entire Love Live discography. Credit where credit's due. All the seiyus from Eminina to Eureka Kibo are actually really talented voice actresses and singers, and they pour so much emotion into this song. Funny enough, this is actually the love song Muse was supposed to come up with, about how the listener's unrequited love becomes so hard to hold back, kind of like, well, a Snow Halation. Upon the song's original release, it charted on Japan's Oricon singles chart for 3 whole weeks, which is really impressive, and even more so when it hit number 70 on the Billboard Japan Top Singles.
It's pretty weird how passionate I sound about this song alone after everything I said about the anime thus far, but it's true. I love this song. Not bad for a sophomore single either, especially for a multimedia franchise that just started out. Let's be real here. Had the song never charted or even got as popular as it did, let's say Love Live would have gone out differently.
You wanna know why I don't have a coterie of supervillains?
Why?
My coterie of supervillains is 6 feet fucking under.
There, you see? Batman doesn't kill people.
Because he's a pussy!
He's a dark creature of the night.
He's a jackass who wrestles with murderers dressed like clowns and throws them in prison so they can break out of prison and then murder more people. Riddle me this. How many people you think Batman's indirectly murdered by being too much of a candy ass not to kill these fools who clearly need to be smoked once and for all, you wrinkly, Shar-Pei-looking dementia-infested fuck!
Here's the real blockbuster. Brace yourselves, you might want to sit down.
Spider-Man's real name is... Spider-Man's name is Peter Parker. What the
Next episode is just Muse vibing out more as friends, in the sense that once again, the main plot is sidelined for more slice-of-life antics. It's wholesome stuff, I guess, until the next one when the girls realize they're competing in the first and last Love Live together and decide to disband afterwards.
After Love Live has ended, Muse will end too!
Who are they talking to? They decide to spend the last few weeks as Muse together, from having a sleepover at the school, to going to their favorite places, to, crying at the subway.
I said I wouldn't! Don't you make me!
In other news, Haruka and Ellie's sisters are accepted into Otonokizaka. Yay! And they perform at Love Live, they win, and sooner afterwards, Muse were no more.
Psych!
Haneo gets big news on her phone and gets everyone back in the club room.
Sorry.
Call Birmingham and I'll fuck you up! Call Birmingham now, and I'll fuck you up! I'll close my eyes! You want to know what's going on now? Fuck you, Smevik! Now come, and I'll kill you!
It's an emergency! Why? What's wrong?
I personally prefer Season 2 over Season 1. Season 2 has a lot deeper characterization and more emotion than Season 1, taking its time to show us more of Muse and their individual members, and it really rewards you with how much you care for these girls and their journey thus far.
I'm actually kinda glad that there's actually a little bit of maturity into this anime. How not every single thing or decision these girls make tend to be all that sunny and happy, and I love how down-to-earth this season can be sometimes. Definitely my favorite Love Live season of the entire franchise. So there you have it, folks. My retrospective on the weirdness that is Love Live School Idol Project. Hello? What do you mean they made a movie? Oh, you motherfucker!
In the grand tradition of every other anime ever made, a Love Live movie was inevitable, especially given how popular the first 2 seasons of the anime were.
In fact, the anime was so popular, even God himself, Nicolas Cage, was nearby the film's premiere. Even celebrities like William Shatner and Gene Simmons are apparently fans of Love Live. These are all real. Look it up.
Now about the movie. Love Live, the school idol movie, picks up directly after season 2 and sees Muse going to America.
Because everyone's gotta go to America at some point.
A TV station has offered to do an interview on them, which we don't really get to see, and we get to see Muse exploring New York City.
Which surprisingly is the happiest depiction of the city I've ever seen compared to something like Coming to America.
Good morning, my neighbors! Hey, fuck you! Yes! Yes! Fuck you too!
There's also a scene where Hanyo cries because she hasn't been able to eat rice for days.
Ever since we came here, had every meal, breakfast, lunch, dinner, it's bread, 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 bread! I need my white rice! All I really want to eat for dinner is some warm rice in a nice warm bowl. Wow, this roll is yummy!
I won't lie, this scene broke me.
White rice is not a side dish, it's a staple food!
I was genuinely laughing so hard at how absurd the whole scene was. Like, I get it. It's supposed to be cute, and that's Hanayo's personality, but dear God, the first time I watched this movie, I just hyena laughed for no reason at this scene.
Every perfect dish begins with rice. Without white rice, a proper meal just wouldn't be complete!
Either Hanayo is really cute, or my sense of humor is just completely broken.
Later that night, Hanukkah gets separated from the group, and we have a little soul moment where she comes across this random lady who looks a lot like her, playing jazz in the middle of the street. They converse with each other for a bit.
Well, it's a big city, so getting lost here isn't so strange, really.
And just before she could introduce her to Muse,
poof, she's gone. Just like that.
They then have a little song before going back to Japan, where it's revealed that Muse has become extremely popular all of a sudden. So hang on, we're a movie and 2 seasons in, only now Muse has become popular just by going to America, even though their performances have been viral for quite a while now.
They have a dedicated fan base at this point, right? Not to mention, we don't really see much of their fans aside from other girls, or viral YouTube videos, or even weird obsessive stans. We don't even see Muse on Jimmy Fallon. I'd pay good money to see them on Jimmy Fallon. Oh wait, no, never mind. Why wouldn't that sound terrible?
But you want to know how they got super famous? Through a song about how they got super famous. And with Muse on the brink of disbanding, they're soon faced with a choice to either stop being idols until the third years graduate, or answer their fans and keep being idols. Kotori's mother, the principal of their school, even advocates them to continue their activities.
You want us to continue?
Yes. Arise and Muse are being lauded as the most popular school idol groups in years. The Dome competition is still up in the air, but the influence of your 2 groups could do a lot for it. At least that's what everyone's saying.
Later that night, Hanukkah reunites with the girl she met in America, where they're transported to a dreamlike hill, where Hanukkah must jump over a lake and hope she can fly.
You have to let it all go, Neo. Fear, doubt, and disbelief. Free your mind.
Hanukkah successfully jumps over and tells herself that she still loves school idols.
Because Muse are school idols. That's who they are.
Yep, seems about right. And it turns out the girl Hanukkah met in America is actually her from the distant future.
I'm telling you, she's a superhero. She can control the weather and go forward into the future. If only that could have saved her from performing in the rain.
Muse announced their disbandment, and with the help of their friends, they soon decide to hold a concert promoting school idols, which culminates in the climax on the same scale as Avengers Endgame, with every single school idol performing with Muse, except for Bang Dream, Idolmaster, K-On, and Luna. We have one more song, and just like that, Muse was no more. For reals this time. Although the movie teases that Muse would stick around for about as long as they could, that wouldn't be the case, for Muse actually disbanded after 2016. For everything I've said about the school idol project stuff so far, I don't think you can talk about this in great detail at this point without mentioning Mew's actual breakup about a year after the movie came out. They did one last live performance, complete with every seiyuu making their own eulogy for Muse. They dropped one last song, and then became inactive ever since. They did make a brief comeback in 2020, dropping a song for Okay, as part of Love Live Fest.
And emphasis on 2020.
This was probably a few weeks before the pandemic began. The seiyus would go on to work on their own musical projects and other animes, some similar to Love Live, but Love Live would go on to focus on the other school idol groups that have been formed after Muse, primarily everyone but Muse.
It is a genuine shame though, knowing how many fans Muse got right after their disbandment, with Snow Halation hitting massive viral popularity when Siva Gunner started meaning it to death around the same year Muse split up. I, myself included, got into these girls pretty late, alongside a lot of other people who got into this franchise all because of how big Snow Halation was that year. I mean, come on. I got a Hanukkah figurine, a Nico Yazawa Nesso, and this. I don't have this hung up on my wall for a lot of good reasons, so I just keep it in the box of shame buried in my backyard. I don't actually have a backyard. You could say life imitates art, considering how the events of the movie nearly mirrors how it actually went in real life, whether this was intentional or not. So even if I did watch the entirety of School Idol Project, all because I got super bored in the pandemic, and even if Idol Hell can get pretty weird sometimes, it doesn't go without saying that Muse has had a pretty solid run that would go on to not only set the stage for what's to come for Love Live and make it as successful as it is, but is also the closest we'll get to Idol Hell hitting the mainstream. Guys, thank you all so much for watching. I worked really hard to get this video made, even if I did nothing but watch 2 seasons in the movie of an idol anime, but I greatly appreciate all of your support for getting these videos out there. As I've said earlier, I do plan to work on the next 3 parts of this video, also Spybreak 3, and maybe, just maybe, Potomania 2. Don't forget to hit the like, hit the bell, subscribe to my YouTube, subscribe to my Patreon, like my Facebook, follow all of my crap social media accounts, and as always, look after yourselves. Now, if you excuse me, I gotta see what the succession craze is all about. Bye! Oh my god, this show is fucking amazing!